Our clients have complex multifactorial problems with legal dimensions, geographic dimensions, and technology dimensions. We work with our clients to help solve these problems. We deploy innovative technology and people. One of the solutions that we've deployed on top of the Relativity platform to expand its functionality is a platform called Heretic. Deepak, tell us a little bit about Heretic.
Heretic is a platform that we've added onto Relativity to help us analyze contracts. A large part of the work that lawyers do is analyzing contracts, and they spend a significant amount of time on it analyzing and going through to find relevant information. Heretic is a tool that uses natural language processing, firstly to help identify sections in a contract. So the lawyers can go straight away and identify things such as a right to order clause. It then also has the ability to extract information, which we then use to help generate templates and documents, which can then be used as part of the deliverables for the client. The advantage of Heretic as well, it's got a flexible machine learning backend to it as well, meaning that we can feed it more and more contracts to help it to understand the type of contracts that our clients are actually using. We've used this in the past to actually help some of our clients, and we've identified efficiencies through its use. In one particular example, we looked at analyzing a contract the traditional way, which took about 2 hours. Using the Heretic tool, it actually reduced that to about 45 minutes. I'll show you a bit of an example of how we actually use Heretic. Firstly, Heretic is able to classify types of contracts. As you can see on the right pie graph, the majority of contracts in this workspace are employment agreements. On the left-hand side, we also have classifications of the type of sections within the contract, and you can see the most commonly used type of section is a confidentiality agreement. As I go into a contract, you can see Heretic has a separate viewer that allows the lawyers to analyze a contract very efficiently. On the left-hand side, what Heretic has been able to do is identify these sections within a contract. The lawyer is able to select any section and quickly go to that section to try and review that type of information. In addition, Heretic has data points. Data points allow a lawyer to identify specific type of information. For example, here we look at duration. Heretic can identify the type of durations and the specific sections that those durations occur in. For example, here we have 7 days, which has been identified in the securities clause. This way, if a lawyer is looking for a specific type of information, they can quickly identify it. On the right-hand side, we actually have a review pane. This is where the lawyer is able to identify information and copy it quickly into a pane to be able to then generate documents. For example, they can highlight a complete section within the contract and send it to any of the review fields that have been identified. Here, they'll be able to save that information and generate any documents. One of the other features I want to show in Heretic as well is the compare feature. This is where you can take several contracts of different versions and identify the differences between each of the contracts. For example, I will take several contracts over here called Flower 12 to 14. These are different versions of the contract that have occurred over various years. When I click the compare feature, Heretic will now bring up a comparison tool. Here I can select a base contract and then identify the differences from the base contract to the other contracts. On the right-hand side here, you can see that Heretic has provided a score to identify how similar another document is. If I go into the compare documents, you can see that Heretic brings up a viewer that can identify the specific sections that have changed. In this example, you can see base salary from 1 year has changed from $450,000 to $480,000. As you can see from that demonstrations, that's just a couple of examples how we've used that tool to help solve our client problems. We're always thinking of more innovative ways that we can integrate some of these new technologies into our Relativity platform.
Thanks, Deepak.